Hello, Catamounts. My name is Alexander Hoffman, and this is Chats with Cats presented by WeTV. In this series, we've been interviewing some of our amazing student athletes here at Western Carolina University. Today's guest is Vernon Collins of the men's basketball team. How are you, Vernon?
I'm doing well.
So we'll go ahead and jump right into this. Go ahead and please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do on the basketball team.
Yeah, I'm Vernon Collins. I'm a forward on the men's basketball team, and I am a psychology major here at Western.
There we go. If you don't mind, could you share a memorable moment from your first season at Western?
Yeah, there was a time over the summer where we all just hung out, doing team building activities, and we had this volleyball game that we all competed against the coaches with, and we ended up winning. And it was just one of those things where you could feel that everybody was getting closer, and it was just a good highlight of the summer.
Yeah, and going along with those team building kind of activities, a common theme in these interviews is the family feel within the teams and the athletics programs as a whole. I kind of wanted to hear your take on that coming in as a transfer to Western.
Yeah, definitely. I love these guys. They're feels like they're my brothers. Obviously with everybody being new this year, it's in most situations it'd be difficult to find some type of connection, but I feel like we've been able to build something special, and I feel like we made some lasting relationships for sure.
And I think part of that is kind of owed to our coaching staff with Coach Kraft placing a pretty big emphasis on that. But also it's just Western as a whole is a pretty small school compared to a lot of other universities. And so those natural bonds form a lot faster, I think, especially because overall with athletics, it'll happen a lot too, where different teams know each other really well. So that's been really nice to see too. But kind of with the overall length of the season, how do you stay motivated during the basketball season, given how it ranges all the way from early November to early mid-March?
Yeah, with motivation, I just remember who I'm playing for, I just remember to be encouraged by my, family, friends, and teammates and coaches, they all help to push me to continue to go after it every day. And that helps with my motivation, definitely.
Yeah, and those kinds of motivating people in your life are definitely really helpful. But we are going to move into the student side of the interview because one of our main focuses here with Chats with Cats is student athletes as more of the student and person beyond the athlete. So what are you studying and what made you choose that major?
So I chose psychology because I like the way that it dives into the ways that people think. As an athlete, I feel like it's important to know sort of why you feel the way you do in certain moments. And just majoring in psychology definitely gives me that avenue to do a deeper dive.
Yeah, I think that we hear a lot of sports management, a lot of business, a lot of communications, but I think that it kind of probably is taken for granted how important the psychology is in sports, especially a very mental game like basketball is. I remember we had Coach Kraft on last spring right after he started at Western, and he was talking about how it's commonly said how basketball is a very mental sport. It's 10-1 mental to physical, and so having that psychology background definitely gives you more insight.
Definitely.
How do you manage your time between academics and athletics?
So I have a calendar that I keep that has all my work, all my workouts, anything that I have to be done with by the end of the week, and make sure that I try and stick to that the best I can. Procrastination happens, obviously, but yeah, that definitely helps to keep everything in balance and keep me going.
Yeah, the organization tools are very important, especially with all of that going on. As I mentioned, again, as a student athlete, there is a huge mental aspect regardless of sport. But I'd like to briefly dive into that aspect and hear your thoughts on mental health as a student athlete.
Yeah. As a student athlete with mental health, just have to realize what it is that you're feeling in that moment, I would say. Because when you face challenges, it's good because it allows you to better understand who you are as a person, is the way that I see it. And with the mental health aspect of it, you always want to continue to improve and build. And like the coach was saying, it is 10-1. And yeah, the basketball side is important and the academic side is important. But if your mental isn't where it needs to be, then it all comes crumbling down. And so I'd say that mental health is paramount to it all, just realizing how you can get through what you need to get through in a safe and responsible way.
Yeah, and I think Western overall with the different resources does a pretty good job of that. And I think overall a lot of schools are starting to realize how important that is, especially with the packed schedules that a lot of student athletes face compared to like non-athletes. And so it's definitely something that's, I think there's a lot of room for improvement in terms of how it's dealt with. But I think that it's nice to see how more and more people are recognizing it as being so paramount, like you mentioned. But then last question of this section of the interview, how has being a student athlete shaped your college experience?
It's helped me with my time management, figuring out when I need to get something done in a good way. And yeah, I'd say that's the biggest thing. Helped me with my time management and also networking, meeting new people, people that are in positions that I may want to be in the future, and just allowed me to get more of an insight on what they do and how they got to where they were.
And I think that networking piece is definitely something that's huge, especially as a benefit of the transfer portal, because you did come from Princeton. And so having that set of networking from all the resources at Princeton and then all the resources at Western, I'm sure is very unique to have that set that maybe without something like the transfer portal, you might not be able to have. So,
right.
But we are going to move into our lightning round, just 4 short little questions with some short little answers from you. What has been your favorite class at Western so far?
Favorite class is Global Black Studies. Yeah.
Nice. Who's the professor for that?
Professor Mawecki.
Shout out Professor Mawecki. And then, do you have any pregame rituals or superstitions?
I pray before every game. That would probably be the biggest thing. As I walk up to the jump circle, I wipe my hands, clean my shoes off. But yeah, just pray before every game. That's probably the biggest one.
There you go. What is your favorite sport to watch and favorite non-WCU team?
Favorite sport to watch? It's basketball. I like to watch basketball. I like to watch football also. Like Thanksgiving time with family. That's one of the few times that I watch it. But it's always fun to watch it with them. And my favorite non-WCU team, is that college?
Whatever you want it to be.
I'm a big Lakers fan. Big Bron guy. Duh.
The Lakers are well loved by at least one person in our studio. But shout out to the Lakers. Not that they need it. But last question of the lightning round. What is your favorite post-game meal?
Favorite post-game meal? Kobe.
We've been hearing Kobe a lot this season. So last question to kind of tie everything together from the student side, the athlete side, and I guess the lightning round too. What is the best advice you've ever received as a student athlete, and what advice would you give to incoming student athletes?
The best advice I've received as a student athlete is to have fun. I feel like one of the biggest things that really messes with the mental aspect of it is that we take ourselves too seriously sometimes, you know. At the end of the day, basketball is a sport. It's a game, you know. That's what it all boils down to. And if you're not having fun while you're doing it, then it can hurt you more than it can help you. And so yeah, just have fun, and that's probably the biggest piece of advice I've ever received.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, that is a super important thing that maybe gets taken for granted, because the time while you are playing basketball is limited. For a lot of people, limited even more, because getting into professional basketball is like, there's a fairly low chance for most people. And so having fun, definitely very good advice for any incoming student athletes as well, regardless of sport. I'm focused a lot on basketball, so thank you for coming on the show. That is going to close us out. So thank you, Vernon, for coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. We'll see you next time, and go Cats.